Alright, wait, fuck. Nice, 3 seconds into the video and it's been messed up. Alright, fellas. Now, a few videos back, it was established that you are most likely just being a bitch if you're skipping the gym for any given number of reasons, and we deconstructed that on how you can actually go a lot further than you think you can, and it is in fact a mindset. Now, this video was kind of a, what's the word? Contrast. Like, oh yeah, the converse of that is that you're actually under-recovered and you're not just being a bitch. These are instances where you should disregard the advice in the previous video, and you should maybe call it a day. Maybe not for the entire session, but call it a day for that exercise or for that muscle group, and go home and fucking pay your dues. Because as we're gonna find out, all of this, except if it's some other underlying medical condition, is most often than not caused by not paying your dues. And I will explain what that means in a future video, and I'll touch on it briefly here. Now, number one probable sign of under-recovery is unexplained cramps mid or post-set. These have happened to me 2 or 3 times that I can remember. Almost always during squatting, things are going fine. I seem to be doing fucking just great. And then second or third set, just this weird-ass cramp in my hamstring, and I'm like, oh shit, that's an injury. Yep, that's an injury. There's a skin monkey on Kanye West's story. That is an injury waiting to happen. Now, when this happens, I still, finish a set, because usually that's good. Usually I don't get my shit snapped. But then I do not do another set after, because once you rack the bar, and once you try squatting down with just your body weight when you still have this ongoing cramp, you find out that, yeah, that feels like an injury and a half just waiting to happen. So, usually you cut your leg work short for the day because you physically can't fucking move through that range of motion with that cramp. Now, this most often than not, from my understanding, happens because of a lack of hydration. Maybe it's just, due to the unfortunate, right? Maybe just due to the unfortunate, you're just getting this cramp. This is a key sign that your shit's about to get snapped. If you know what I'm talking about, it just feels downright weird, a little bit dangerous. Probably don't push it, okay? Probably it is okay to do no more of that exercise for the day. Now, number 2, fully or almost passing out during or after a set again. This one should be pretty obvious, but it is a sign to myself that I should be moving on from the exercise, because here's the funny overhead press story. So, I'm not gonna reveal any numbers yet. I'm not gonna post that many more numbers until I, get to not complete fucking pencil neck levels, because I'm a tad bit embarrassed of my current strength level. But basically, I was attempting a max overhead press that was like, not going well. I was working up to my last single. I tried to press it overhead, and I almost entirely passed out. Good thing I fell forward, and the bar fell onto the safeties. I'm not sure if I have the video. I probably will not put up the video, but you can just imagine me fucking locking on an overhead press barely, or like almost, because I don't think I actually counted the rep. And then I just fucking fall forward onto the safeties, and I kind of almost pass out, get super lightheaded. That is probably a sign that I should stop overhead pressing for the day, and even more probably find another exercise that doesn't make me do that. Now, this is just an issue I, think happens with me and overhead pressing in particular. It just, standing overhead presses don't seem to agree with me very well, and I always seem to pass the fuck out. So if anyone has some tips, I would very much appreciate a comment being left about how to possibly avoid that. But until then, I know for a fact that this is more likely to happen when I have not paid my dues and when I am under-recovered as well. So if you find yourself experiencing the same thing, either the lightheadedness, passing out, or exertion headache, is probably a good time to fucking, lay off that exercise for the day. Move on with the rest of your session. Now, number 3 is that you completely fall out of your rep range from set to set. This is a kind of a dangerous one to include in here, because you can just as easily just bitch out, right? Because I have also had this happen mid-set where I'm going completely fine, boom, 1, 2, 3 reps, fucking, like, it's hard, but it's like nothing. I can do it, obviously. And then 4 or 5 reps in, I just kind of like have an existential crisis mid-set, and I just fucking give up, lose all drive. In the middle of the set, I don't know what this is. Probably not normal, to be honest. Probably something worth checking out. But I just basically have an existential crisis mid-set, and therefore I fall out of the rep range. And I do genuinely try, but then my mindset gets fucked, and then I can't use all my motor units. This is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that you're properly, properly hyped, properly amped up for the session, and you're genuinely, like, trying while being in a good mental space, and you still fail, and you still fall out of the rep range, just, out of fucking nowhere, right? Now, this happens, how much you can, like, replicate a given set varies based on exercise to exercise, but usually, you shouldn't vary more than like a few reps, right? Because if you vary more than a few reps between sets, that's what's it called? That's a sign that something's probably a tiny bit fucked. For example, this is a pretty obvious one, right? You're doing a 6 to 10, right? 3 by 6 to 10, and you get an 8 on your first set. Wonderful. You get 4 on your second. Tiny bit concerning. You're already falling out of the rep range, and then your third set you get 2. This is obvious. This is very obvious, right? Now there's like a gray area in what case it becomes falling out of the rep range. Because obviously if you get like a fucking 665, like obviously you shouldn't count that as, oh shit, I'm under recovered. But like when you get something like an 842, that's literally a fourth of the reps from the third set as you got on the first. And it probably is not worth continuing with that body part or that exercise for the day if you see this happening. If you are genuinely properly pushing, but it just will not budge for whatever reason, this is probably a sign of under recovery. Again, as I touched on previously, and I will touch on now, I touch a lot of things in this video. I have never touched a woman. Now, these are signs that you have not paid your dues whatsoever. ALA, Bald Army Man, Paris Butler, he coined the term. There's something coming out on, how to do this more in depth in the future. But essentially, it's all your boring ass shit that you don't like hearing about, but you don't do anyways. So your hydration, your sleep, your nutrition, all the other aspects of recovery, not living in an active war zone, all the good things like that. Just take care of those, and these symptoms should diminish. And if one of these symptoms become apparent, fucking stop the movement, or perhaps the session for the day. Okay, peace.